stage where people are like afraid to get into relationships, like they're afraid to go for investment. So how can we connect the startup founders journey through a relationship side?
Interesting. I think that's a wonderful question. So, I believe the commonalities between a startup and a relationship are primarily the fact that you really need to brace yourselves for facing risk, for facing challenges, for rejections, because the first attempt may not work out really well, and you need to put your heart and soul out there, and it takes little investments over a period of time to lead to a compounding result. And I think those are the similarities, because just like how startup doesn't happen in one day, it doesn't happen overnight, it's not something which you'll see in true colors very quickly. It's the same with relationships. It takes time to meet a bunch of people, like have a larger pool for serendipity, to then identify who do you align with in terms of your values, your lifestyle, your goals, and then eventually you arrive at a DTR, define the relationship stage, you get exclusive, and you take things forward.
So we often see that startup founders don't get time for anything. They don't have time for sleeping, eating, anything. So how can they maintain the relationship in this tight schedule?
Interesting. So, there's one thing that I tell people: if it is one of your top three priorities, you will figure out how to carve out time on your calendar, how to have headspace available so that you're able to devote to it. So I understand startup world gets crazy. There are a lot of deadlines to meet. There's always a funding crunch, no matter whether you're bootstrapped or you're funded. There's always this, oh, I may have to take the next pivot or whatever. But at the same time, do you forget eating food? No. Do you forget to breathe? No. So then, forget about dating, even in a platonic sense, just to make sure that you're taking good care of yourself, that there's enough self love, self esteem, and everything, full, lively energy flowing into your body. You make sure you're taking good care of yourself. You make sure you at least have 3 to 5 deep relationships where you can pick up the phone, call someone at a 2 a.m. and say, hey, this is what is going on. You still make sure that you have an identity which is outside your work. So sure, work is a great identity to have, but it cannot be the only one. So to add to the menu, are you still enrolled in a fitness class? Are you still showing up to volunteer, maybe once in a week? Are you still engaged in interest-based activities? You may not have your extracurricular section going too long, but if we only have work on the menu and nothing else, that's a problem statement.
Okay, so do you think that couplepreneurs succeed more than the single startup founders because they are together in their work and also in their life?
Wow, I love that question. I would say it's a different journey as a solo founder, and of course it is different as couplepreneurs. What I've definitely noticed with couplepreneurs is, on the plus side, you are together, you are a team to fight it out together, to brave all the challenges together, to tackle whatever comes your way together. However, I do understand that there are people who bring a lot of work home, and to basically set boundaries and say, hey, now this is our time for this third entity, which is a living, breathing relationship, to flourish, to function, to thrive. I think setting boundaries is the key, because while you can work together and have amazing chemistry on work, you still need to constantly feed that relationship to keep it going for you. Regardless of whether the startup works out or not, you still want that relationship for the long term, right? You don't want an exit out of it, hopefully.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.